How's it going, everybody? Thank you for watching another video. So tonight we're going to be talking about Season 1, Episode 3 of Chief of War. And now that Kamehameha has been introduced, I can let you guys in on some nice juicy secrets, maybe even some spoilers. Alright, before getting into Episode 3, just a few things about Episode 2. So number 1, Cayana didn't just fall into the ocean and they rescued him. He voluntarily went with that crew to cruise around the world and became a very well-cultured man. And number 2, it was very important for Kaʻahumanu and Cayana to meet in Episode 2 to give it a little bit of substance. They had to have a little bit of that weird energy together, which I'm going to connect later on in the video. Alright, the first thing I remember is Kahekili's son hooking up with another dude. Same-sex relationships were common in ancient Hawaii. Very open type of attitude toward that type of relationship. We have a term, a word, mahu, which is a person that has both male and female spirit in one person. Incest was common in the Royal Hawaiians, the Ali'i class. They wanted to keep that bloodline pure. So a very open attitude towards sexuality in ancient Hawaii. Then we see Kahekili taking over Kauai, right? So now he's got Maui, Oahu, and Kauai. Could this guy be the chosen one? He's one kingdom away from uniting everything together. But not so fast. We finally get to hear the name Kamehameha in this TV series. Now, I cannot express to you guys how important Kamehameha is to the Hawaiian culture. He is our Alexander the Great, the unifier. He really set up Hawaii for success in the future. So if you go to Oahu and you visit Iolani Palace, which was the residency of the modern day Hawaiian monarchy, right across the street by the post office, there's a massive statue of him. And on Kamehameha Day, they drape him out in giant leis, and it's one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen, and definitely one of the nicest smelling. Cut to Kamehameha, the first thing we see is he's doing some underwater breathing exercises to try to increase the air capacity in his lungs so he can stay underwater longer, which is incredibly useful for spearfishing, and the people that are up on the North Shore, like the lifeguards and the big wave surfers, practice this so that when a wave is holding them down, they don't suffocate. I got to do this when I was in Kamehameha in the 80s, 1980s, because nobody cared about kids back in the 1980s, but we did it in a swimming pool, and it's pretty cool. Cut to the scene with Kamehameha's uncle and his cousin. Now, the goal of this scene is to show you, number one, that the Ali'i is sick, old, and he's going to die pretty soon, but also to show that there's a little bit of friction between Keōua and Kamehameha. You can see that the Ali'i is asking Kamehameha what he would do, and this really irritates Keōua. What's going to happen is the crown is going to pass to Keōua. Kamehameha is going to get another half of the Big Island, and eventually what's going to happen is Kamehameha is going to unite the Big Island, Hawaii, under one rule to take on Kahekili. Now, finally, back over to Jason Momoa'S character, Cayana. Now, the only things that you got to remember about that whole stop at that port is, number one, he knows he needs firearms, right? We saw what kind of respect he had for firearms when he was in the cave with Kaʻahumanu. He's now trained and he's got the knowledge, and he knows that he needs these to beat Kahekili. Number two, when he goes to buy firearms, he figures out they're pretty expensive, so he doesn't have a way to buy them. There's nothing he can trade until he meets up with that lady and they discuss the trade of sandalwood. Now, I don't know if you guys ever been to Sequoia National Park, but when you go there, the smell of sequoia trees are just intoxicating. But the smell of a sandalwood tree, I think, is a lot more aromatic than that. Now, essentially what's going to happen is Cayana's going to come back and find out that Kamehameha is the opposing chief to Kahekili, and he's going to be, hey, look, I know how to work these firearms, and I have an idea of how to get them. We're going to take these sandalwood trees and sell them. People are going to put them in perfumes. They're going to make furniture out of them, and then we can buy all we need to defeat Kahekili. And those two together, they make a good team. Or do they? All right, guys, here is where I'm going to uncork some juicy gossip and maybe uncork some spoilers. I'm going to tell you where and how Jason Momoa'S character is going to die. So if you want to hear it, stop right now. Alright, let me take you guys back to the 1980s where I first heard the name Cayana. He was taught to us as a traitor because that's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to defect over to the side of the Ali'i of Oahu, basically fighting against an army he helped build. Now, what could separate men that got this close, right? He's going to help Kamehameha, the chosen one, build this army and defeat basically everybody. What would separate two men like that? And this is why the introduction of Kaʻahumanu and Kaʻahumanu was important back in episode 2, because supposedly they had an affair. Kamehameha found out and didn't award Kaiana a seat at the War Council. This supposedly pissed him off, and that's why he switched sides. So of course, this is not good for Kaiana. And in my mind, I just think about these two guys just fighting each other. It would have been so awesome. Both of them are like 6'5", just massive human beings, both fierce warriors. But in this case, Kamehameha's army is massive. They got the numbers, they got the guns, they got the cannons. And it's not going to end well for the army and the ali'i of Oahu. Now, if you guys don't believe me, they actually taught us a song about the Battle of Nu'uanu when I was a kid. And I don't know if it was just taught at Kamehameha or if it was at other elementaries. But I'll leave a link in the description below so you can listen to it. But it goes a little bit something like this. King Kamehameha, the conqueror of the islands, became a famous hero one day. So Kaiana will die in the Battle of Nu'uanu. I think he's going to get shot, but the rest of the army gets pushed over the pali, which means cliff or precipice in Hawaiian. And you can go see it today in Hawaii. It's absolutely free. You go up the Likelike Highway, it'll be cut off on the right, and you can see all that craziness. And it's just a beautiful lookout of the windward side of the island. And I think on a good day, you probably get maybe 30 to 50 mile an hour winds, maybe 60. If you're small enough and you get up on the railing and you put a jacket over yourself, you can lean into the wind. Now, I'm not recommending you do that, but you could. Now, growing up as a youth in Hawaii, one of the fun things to do is visit the pali really late at night. Now, you're not supposed to do that. You can get arrested, you can get in trouble, but it's fun. It's a totally different vibe up there. It is black. There's no lights. You can't see your hand in front of your face. You know, you got that 50 mile an hour wind just screaming down at your face. You got these trees, different types of trees just clicking in the background, and you swear, and you will check yourself when you go up there, that it's the sounds of spears clanking against each other. Or are they night marchers? Let me know in the comments if you think you know what a night marcher is. Well, there you go, guys. Episode 3. We are all set up to move forward, right? We got the 3 kingdoms versus the 1 now, right? We've got Kahekili and an emerging Kamehameha. Kaiana's out there who's going to join up with Kamehameha later on. We are set to go. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Keep an eye out for all my other reviews. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you for watching.